Hey guys, it's me again, Janet Miller Monfils, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about going for the no. So there's this book that says go for no, right? And I finished reading it today, and it goes into and expresses how important the no's are. So I'm going to try to change your way of thinking. And like I said, I sat down and read it today, and or finished reading it today, and it really did change the way that I thought about things too. Because I get really discouraged, and I'm afraid of failure, just as everyone else is. And the book really addresses that. So I'm going to go through some of the highlights that I really found useful in the book. And like I said, if you have a chance to read it, go for it. It's called Go for No. It's like 120 pages, but they're short pages, if it's even that. But it's a really quick read. So, um, everyone knows the quote, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." So, in the book, they talk about that a little bit, but they shift it so that sticks and stones may break my bones, but no will never hurt me. And that's true. And, I think a lot of us are scared for what we consider failure by having somebody say no. Okay, but what you need to do is fail your way to success. Okay, and that sounds weird, but I'm going to explain it. So, this book it actually follows this gentleman's life, and he's a motivational speaker, etc. Now, but in the book, like, he bonked himself on the head, and it was like he went into the future where he was able to see his future self, and so they have this conversation with past self, future self, and obviously the future self is very um, successful and whatnot. So there are just the successful future self tells the younger self that it's okay to fail and that he succeeded by failing. And so basically, some of these quotes that I wrote down, you can see I took my notes, are going to be from that, and I'll try to connect it with a story. So basically, failure wave success, like I just said, there's a thing that you guys have all heard, go for your 100 no's. And we're going to talk about that, and I'm actually going to challenge you to that, and we're going to talk about how getting those no's can actually help make your business succeed. So what you need to do is quit focusing on your fear and look at the positive. And I'm one that's really bad about focusing on my fear. I've been holding out on following up with people, or going out there and getting the big salons or whatever, because I'm scared to fail. And so I'm gonna start working on this, and try to get out there and go for the no. And you can only know if you're gonna go forward by hearing that no, or seeing if they're gonna say yes. So what you need to do is expand your comfort zone, because that your comfort zone is never static. Okay, so it's never really at the same exact spot always. It's always in a state of expansion or retraction. Okay, so for instance, I used to be scared of heights. Now, I've worked on it, and I can climb a ladder and be fine. So that fear factor is not always the same. It's not always static, but it's going to change over time as you get more scared of some things and less scared of some things. Okay. Um, and so you basically have to think about um, your courage, and how you can encourage yourself to grow and overcome those fears. So basically, one tip is do something every day that scares you. Okay, obviously I'm not going to ask you guys to go bungee jumping or whatever, but I don't know. I mean, as simple as try a new lipstick color, or write in a new ink pen color, or just stupid things. Drive in the fast lane instead of the slow lane. But you always try to challenge yourself to make sure that your fear level isn't static, and that it does continue to grow. And there's the lovely quote that courage is not the absence of fear, that courage is acting in the face of fear. And so it's being afraid of something and doing it anyway. So again, when I first got into this, I really don't like talking on the phone. And so you think, well, maybe this is the wrong business for you, Janet. But I've gotten better. And with some of the happenings in the last week or two, I've been forced out of my comfort zone to pick up the phone and call people. And it's not that scary. So it's great. You can develop more relationships than what you can over email or text or Facebook messages. You can get to know the person, and so um, make sure that you have the courage to do something. Um, and so again, courage is not the absence of fear. Okay, so it's not having fear, but it's acting in the face of fear. So I'm scared to pick up the phone and call people. You know what? I acted in the face of fear, and I picked it up, and I did it, and I did it anyway. And then there's like the lovely saying, "Fake it till you make it." Same thing. Okay, first time I had to pick up a phone call and do a cold call for Mona, or call one of my downlines. I was scared. First time I walked into a salon, I was literally shaking, and I messaged my team, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm going into a salon. Wish me luck." Blah blah blah. And I had to put a smile on and fake it until you make it. Okay. And then after you continue to, have the attitudes and those mannerisms, it's going to become second nature, and it won't be so scary anymore. Um, so basically, this whole book is about failing, but not in the way that you think of it. Okay, so a willingness to fail means a person will tolerate just enough failure to get what they need from a life, but no more. Okay, and a wantingness, on the other hand, means that you're not just tolerating the no's in your life, that you're actually beginning to seek them. And so that's what this whole book was all about, is beginning to seek those no's. And when you develop a true wantfulness to fail, rejection starts being fun. Okay, so that was kind of interesting to hear and to listen. And they have this 5 levels of failure. Okay, so there's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So you can see, I think it's backwards for you guys. Read quick backwards. I'm going to post this in Team Peacocks anyway, but you can go for the Go for No website. But you can see that there are different levels of failure, what you can expect to get from it, etc. So the level 1 ability to fail is 100% of the people on planet Earth have the ability to fail, and this is where we all start. But what keeps most people at level 1 status is their intense desire to avoid any form of failure at all costs. As a result, 80% of people, 80, never move past this basic level. Okay, so then we move on to the level 2. This is the willingness to fail. So level 2 people develop the willingness to fail, which means that they can come to accept failure by a natural or as a natural byproduct of the process of seeking success. And here's a fun statistic. Fewer than 20% of all people make it to level 2 for any sustained period of time. So you're like, oh geez, the numbers are getting smaller, the numbers are getting smaller. But this is where we're going to coach you and focus on you guys looking for those no's and stuff like that. Okay. Level 3 is the wantingness to fail. And having the wantingness to fail goes beyond the mere tolerance or acceptance of failure as a part of life. The wantingness means that you're developing the desire to fail with the inner faith and potential and personal for financial growth will follow. Okay, so again, this is searching for the no's. In the next worksheet, I'm going to talk about actually breaks things down to numbers to show you why going for the no's. But fewer than 5% of all people ever get to level 3. Okay, so level 4 is failing bigger and faster. And the people who ascend to level 4 are those who have come to the conclusion that if failing is good, then failing faster is better. And it's not just failing faster, but if one is going to increase their failure rate, do it by going after the big goals that are worthy of the effort. So for me, this was like, go for those salons. Okay, don't just stay with your aunt, your cousin, whatever. Reach out and go for the big fail. Okay, go to the big salons, and you know what? If they say no, that's okay. There's a way. There's something else I'll talk about in just a little bit about how to accept those no's and move on, and potentially turn them into yeses. And then level 5 would be failing exponentially. This is the final level for those rare individuals who understand that massive success requires multiplication of effort. Okay, and that's one thing that we say in Monat a lot is multiplication. So why recreate the wheel? We're gonna just do what other people have already done that's worked and move on from there. So level 5 people enlist others to fail with them, i.e., build their team, right? Knowing that if an individual failure means individual success, then group failure equals group success. Okay, so basically we're all into this together, and if we go for those no's together, and again, when I break it down into numbers, it'll make a lot more sense. Okay. So I think I already said this, but I'm going to say it again. A willingness to fail means a person will tolerate just enough failure to get what they need from life, no more. A wantingness, on the other hand, means that you're not just in it to tolerate it, the no's in your life, but actually you're beginning to seek them. And when you develop this true wantingness to fail, the rejection starts being fun. Okay, so I did say that, and that goes back to those 5 levels. Okay, and what's interesting is the story is about a salesperson, and he's like a copy salesperson or whatever. And so every week they have a quota that they need to meet. And so he starts off like they need 5 for a week or something like that, and he starts by getting 3 on Monday. So he starts slacking. He's like, oh great, Tuesday I'll do this, Wednesday I'll do this, Thursday I'll go golfing, and then I can get the last 2 on Friday. So it's this, kind of the same thing with us in our month end. Okay, so if you start off really strong, it's human nature to slack in the middle, right? And then that can, hey Sophie, that can fail. Okay, so there's a statistic that most salespeople slow down when they reach their quota, rewarding themselves for their accomplishment, therefore staying in their comfort zone and avoiding the pain of rejection. My cat's over here saying hi. Okay, so that's basically the same thing. Okay, you started off the month with a bang. Okay, then you slack, and then all of a sudden it's month end. The time flies, guys. It really does. And then you're scrambling to, try to do something, and you're staying in those comfort zones and not going out further because you're trying to avoid the rejection. Okay, um, Ben Franklin said success has ruined many a man, and it's basically like that. Like once you get to a certain level, people get lazy and they just maintain that level instead of continuing to go. So basically, you're going to be going for the nose, and you're going to be reshaping how you think. So say your old goal was to have 3 yeses a day, a week, a month, whatever it is, and 7 nos. So basically, what they're trying to do is say, okay, you know what, go for 8 no's. Okay, and sometimes it's harder to get no's because after you present the opportunity, people are going to say yes, and then it's actually going to be harder for you to get those no's. And even if you do get those no's, you're still planting the seeds. I know that we've talked a lot about this on my team. You go to functions and events, and I've sent out samples, and people are saying, "Oh, it's not for me right now." But then, lo and behold, 6 months later, they place an order, and you're just like, "Oh, hey, cool, okay." Um, here's a fun statistic: 85% of all interactions between retail salespeople and shoppers end without the salesperson ever asking for a buying decision. So how many times have you gone into a department store and they don't even say, hi, I may help you, right? So that's what they're saying, is that, a lot of these sales are going to be ending without even saying, hey, can I help you? Or would you like that in a different size or color, etc. And so what you need to do as a salesperson is lead them to say no at least once, okay? So, hey, we have these new products. Do you use hairspray? No. Okay, well, we have this new taffy, sculpting taffy. Can I tell you about that? Okay, is it something that you would like to do, look into right now? Make them say no. But chances are, a lot of times they might say sure, or I'm more interested, or, whatever. So basically, what you have is this worksheet for no's. Okay, so this is the science of setting no goals. Okay, so you can see that I started some things. So, so here's the process for setting your no goals. First, your current closing ratio. You have to use your current closing ratio to determine the number of sales opportunities you need to make to achieve your numbers of yeses you want for the week. Okay, so basically, for example, if your standard closing ratio is 10%, so 1 out of 10 people say yes, the 9 say no. Okay, and you want to make 2 sales, then you need to sell to 20 people. You have to, approach 20 people to set your current rate of closing. And so what you now need to do is always set your no goals on a daily or weekly basis. Okay, and this is something that I am horrible about because I'll be like, oh, this is my, same like our volume for the month. Okay, so you think of it for the month, but what you really need to do is break it down into smaller tidbits. Say, okay, what do I need per week? Okay, so if I need $10,000 per week, that means I need, 2.5 thousand, dollars per day. And so, you have to break it down into that so that it's more realistic because a lot of times monthly goals provide us with too much imaginary time to correct. So, like I said, I mean, the month seems like it's really long, but you know what? It's already the 10th of September. That's my horse, Bella. And so it's already the 10th. So the month is a third over, and to me, it just started like yesterday. Okay, so you have to make the smaller goals and keep yourself more accountable. Okay, So then at this point, you have three options. You have option A, so that basically if you subtract your anticipated numbers of yeses from your total sales opportunities, you arrive at your minimum no goal for the week. So in this case, 20 presentations, two people say yes, that's 18 no's. Okay, so what you should do is option B, play it safe and just make 20 your no goal to ensure that you have your chances of success. So, of those 20 people that you approach, two, maybe three people are going to say yes, and you're going to have 17, maybe 18 no's. But that's okay because you're still approaching, you're still planting those seeds. And what you'll find is that you'll get more yeses than what you think. Um, and then also option C is great because you can plan for a sales increase by increasing the number of no's that you're going to get. Okay, and so that's this one right here. Okay, so you're going to plan for a sales increase by increasing the number of no's you're going to get. So for example, if you'd like to get a 30% increase for the week, multiply your 18, which is your minimum no goal, by 1.3. So that's a 30% increase. And so 18 times 1.30 equals 23.4. And since you always round up, that's going to make 24. So then you're going to make 24 your no goal for the week. So you see how just increasing it a couple people to try to get those no's potentially can make it into a huge sales. Okay. So I just talked about three options, option A, B, and C. And so option A keeps you from having bad weeks that occur because you get off to a great start and then slack off. Option B builds a 10% increase in the number of calls and will provide a safety net for hitting your goal and probably will provide you with a small increase, where option C will actually create your sales explosion and get you to whatever level you desire. So yes is the destination and no is how you get there. And so basically what you're doing by doing this and counting your no's instead of your yeses is that you're building in a protection for prematurely ending a hot streak. So don't back off or slack. Don't and a great analogy is if you have a baseball player and they are on a hot streak, they're getting strikeouts or whatever, why would you pull them out of the game? Okay, so basically you have to work, think about it that way. But just, by aiming on how many no's you get, you're still getting the seeds out there. You're still getting people, and like I said, there's a story coming up for that. I, I don't know. I can't read my writing. Can anyone read that for me? So, Pike and Minnow. I just can't spell. Okay, so in this story, they said that there was a pike and a minnow. Okay, so a pike is a big fish, right? And the minnow is one of their food sources. And so what they did is they put this pike and they put these minnows in a big tank. But what they did is they put a glass divider in between the pike and the minnows. Okay, so what happened is that the pike kept trying to go after these minnows, and he kept bopping his nose. Okay, so those were his nose, and those were his nose, and nose and no, right? But anyway, and so what the researchers did was after a while, they actually took the divider out, but the minnows stayed on their side and the pike stayed on their side because that was a learned response of getting rejected. Okay, and the little pike wasn't able to move beyond that and continue to go. So he was, he stunted his growth or his ability to get food by, having that glass wall in his head. So there's another great picture. Obviously, I'm into horses. You just saw my horse Bella, and there's a picture of this great big horse. Okay, horses weigh on average 1,000 to 1,200 pounds. Okay, a lot. And they had this horse that was tied to just a folding chair that weighs 5 pounds, 8 pounds tops, and basically it's the barriers in your mind are what keep you from moving forward is the goal. Okay, so this horse obviously could have taken off and taken this whole chair and gone, wherever they wanted to, but in his mind, he couldn't go because that chair was there holding him back. So this is kind of like those no's. Okay. Here's a couple more statistics that I found interesting. 80% of salespeople don't make it through the first year because they failed to make enough calls. Okay, I started off really slow, and I know that some people on my team did too. It's like, okay, great, let's do this, and then you realize, oh shoot, it's a lot of work, and that's the same thing. I was still working full time as a college professor, and so I didn't make time. Okay, so I finally got off my behind and started working in about December, and obviously was able to continue to grow. So what you need to do is polish, then apply your skills. Okay. So these training videos hopefully are going to help you to polish and also apply your skills. And so another thing that we need to realize is that no doesn't mean no, never, ever. Okay, it just means not yet. Okay, another statistic from this book: 92% of people, salespeople, give up without asking for a sale a fifth time. But research shows that 60% of all customers say no 4 times before they finally say yes. Okay, so that fifth time is the key. And so right now you have a perfect opportunity because we just launched new products. Okay, so reach out to those no's that you had before and say, hey, I'm really excited. Our company just launched these, and they're really affordable. They're zero impact on the environment. My uplines tried them or whatever. And, so that gives you a great excuse to reach out. Another thing that Monite does is they have all these amazing flash sales. So, reach out to those no's, reach out to those not right no's, reach out to those maybes and say, hey, I know that, you were thinking about it or it wasn't exactly the right time last time we talked, but, there's just this sale that you just can't pass off. And, I just wanted to share it to you because it's absolutely amazing. You get the products for X amount of percentage off or whatever. So the company gives you a lot of reasons to reach out to your old contacts and, try to get them the fifth time and get them to say that yes on the fifth time. Okay. Um, so that's great. And so basically, the synopsis of all this is yes is the destination, but no is how you get there. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, and I'm doing this for myself too, is I'm going to make a list of 100 people, and they can be high school friends, coworkers, just um, people that maybe are on a fashion blog or Instagram followers, or whatever. Go find people. You're in a PTA, reach out to those people, or these groups that are on Facebook. I'm sure all of us are in some sort of an interest group. A couple of people that you maybe have talked to from those, reach out to those. But I want you to make a list of 100 people and write their name, write their contact information, and I want you to write the initial date of contact and like their thoughts, and just reach out and you know lead up with the sculpting stuff and the hairspray, because some people are like, I'm gonna go spend that for shampoo, but they have no problem spending that on hairspray. Why? I'm not exactly sure why it is arranged that way in the people's mind, but it is. Okay, so it gives you a fantastic opportunity to reach out to those people again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys do the 100 no challenge. Okay, so reaching out to 100 people, all those people that finished the 100% or the 100 people, and you show me your workbook on the day that you called them, what they said, follow up, etc. I'll send you a free system. Okay, because I believe in the power of this, and you guys will get statistically sales. Okay, so I want you guys to start working on that and reach out, and email me if you have any questions. My personal email is monfilsjanet, MONFILSJANET @gmail.com. And, I want you guys to go out there and do that and, break through your barriers that you set on yourselves and go for those no's. Okay. So I'm doing the same thing this week. And so I want you guys to meet me there. And thanks for listening. And I'll